Hey everybody, welcome to another video. This is going to be a follow-up video to a video I made or released yesterday about the whole Joe Biden isn't coming for your guns, so relax. And where do I begin on this? So first, I just want to thank everybody who watched the video to the end and kind of looked at how I tied everything together and actually understood the underlying and actually, I thought, pretty obvious point that I was making that really didn't have much to do with Biden and guns at all. And it had everything to do with the extreme division and extreme hatred and anger stemming from manufactured fear. So the comment section holds many prime examples of unfortunate cases of people who are so incredibly divisive that they're willing to call me names and tell me that they unsubscribed or whatever after X amount of years, months, whatever, because I made one video saying some things they didn't like or necessarily agree with or care to hear me out on. So they're willing to turn their back on me, and this isn't just a whining video, just again, keep watching, don't type your comment yet. They turn on me after having enjoyed my content for however long they enjoyed it. And when I see that sort of thing happening, this sort of thing should terrify you and myself more than anything the government is doing or might do. The fact that people can turn on each other that quickly and that drastically, just instant, bam, years and then gone. Simply because someone says something they don't necessarily agree with or they're uncomfortable with. A very dangerous and bad thing, societally speaking. So it's division, it's hate, and it's what allows tyrannical regimes to actually take control of a country such as the United States. It can happen here, while the populace is fighting among themselves. It's divide and conquer. It's one of the oldest tricks in the book. And unfortunately, a disturbing amount of people are still falling for it. So what happened yesterday was, and I expected a lot of this, I didn't expect a lot of the positive comments there. That was actually a surprise, and that was a pleasant surprise. But within the first couple hours of posting, the comment section began filling up with hate and vitriol, as expected, because of my content and kind of what I do and all that stuff. And it did shock me, though, still, how many people just cannot deal with hearing a different opinion at all. And they just end up losing their shit completely, and resorting to petty insults and the further perpetuation of fear, and division, even though that's kind of what the video was aiming to stop or, make it more obvious that it's happening and a lot of people are affected by it. So anyway, I don't understand it. Is this because the population has been absolutely and effectively brainwashed into thinking that civil discourse is now a terrible and scary thing? Or that if someone doesn't agree with you, that they're your enemy? So just think about this for a second. If the overall message of my video was actually calling for an end to the divisiveness, however you want to say that word, and the hostility, and saying that this is exactly what the government wants people to do, and roughly 40% at the time of me making this video, but it's been consistent since it was released several hours ago, about 40% of the comments are people that just cannot see the writing on the wall. That should scare the fuck out of you way more than any politician or their veiled threats or outright statements about gun control or lockdowns or what have you. But specifically the video referred to gun control as the topic at hand to make a further deeper point. So that's why I used that. And if you are one of the people who flipped out at me, and others that flipped out at other viewers on the last video and are living in this constant fear of, oh, my guns are going to get taken away, I would encourage you to do some much needed self-reflection It's not that easy to do, I understand that, but relax first and take a step back and realize that by acting the way you did, you're playing into the same government that you're so terrified of, giving them all the power to control, and they do watch this stuff and they see it. It's giving them all the power to control by dividing people. By you acting like that, it proves to them that whatever they're doing to divide people, whether it's the government or the establishment, whatever you want to call it, the group of people that seems to be wanting people to be divided, they're winning. They can see that by people acting like this on the internet, in person, on social media is obviously the worst, which is why I knew there was a calculated risk in releasing this video, and it'll also be a time capsule because, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that ages. But people are turning on each other at the drop of a hat. That's not a good thing. We're stronger together, and they know that. And we're stronger together when we aren't living in constant fear of things that haven't happened yet. Sure, people were commenting you should be proactive, and that's how you prevent bad things from happening. Sure, on the surface level, that makes sense, but I think there's more deep things at play here, and that's kind of my point again. It's sad, and it's very scary to me how hostile people are to other people that are very, very similar to them, myself, the other viewers. Just because, I say something or they said something that they didn't agree with. And it's crappy because they've given in to the groupthink style of, I have my team. It's groupthink. It's just, bam, you're wrong. I don't want to listen at all. And they refuse to hear anything outside of their own echo chamber, which is very interesting. So, I'll wrap this video up in a little bit, but just letting you guys know, if you're watching, I will be getting just back to guns, gear, and history. I've never done a super political video for this reason, but I figured I had been talking about it in videos the past, 4 years about how if a Democrat wins in 2020, that panic buying and fear mongering will resume very, substantially, and I was correct. That's why I chose to try to alleviate at least some people from buying into this stuff. So I will be getting back into my usual shtick and my theme of guns, gear, and history, but I did just wanted to bring the some attention to the massive division and the hate that, I'm trying to keep my notes up here so I stay on course and kind of get my point across in a more clear way. Yesterday, about 60% of you got the actual underlying message, which means you listen and you're capable of comprehending what you hear when somebody tells you something and realizing that not everything's at face value, like the title of the video or the first few minutes of it. So that's very good. But yeah, I just wanted to bring attention to all this division and hate exists because people are stuck in this cycle of not thinking for themselves, and they're just not willing to even hear another opinion that differs from theirs, which is why we as a nation are becoming increasingly unable to solve anything, right? When there's no more room for discourse and compromise, humans tend to do some really terrible things to each other at the behest of those who worked to facilitate that and destroy the ability of the people to work together and to actually improve mankind. So, perhaps something to consider is the actual plan is to cry gun control every 2 to 4 years, right? Spark a panic because they know that we're predictable. We'll do that. Create division, create political division, and further arm the population every time a panic happens. So when things boil over at some point, which is probably planned or maybe not, people begin slaughtering each other in massive numbers, and the establishment actually is able to assume full control of whoever is left at the end of that. But hey, that's a different viewpoint than some people have, so you better call me a fat fuck and just one more time, because I don't quite understand that I'm fat. Call me a fat fuck one more time, just to confirm you are indeed doing the bidding of the establishment that you are so scared of.